Close your eyes, sleep, pause, soothing stories to drift off. Gather close, little one, and let your mind wander into gentle tales of cozy nights, whispering forests, and sleepy animals. Each story is like a soft lullaby meant to carry you into dreams. Snuggle up, take a deep breath, and let's begin. The little star who wanted to rest. High above the world, a tiny star named Twinkle shone brightly every night. But Twinkle was tired. She wanted to close her eyes and sleep like the children below. "How do I rest?" she asked the moon. Slowly, softly, the moon whispered. "Let your light dim, one gentle flicker at a time, until you're dreaming among the clouds." And so Twinkle blinked slowly once, twice, and on the third blink, she drifted into a quiet, starry sleep. Sleepy Bear's den. Deep in the forest, Sleepy Bear was preparing for winter. He fluffed his blankets of moss, tucked in his paws, and let out a long, slow yawn. Rest. One by one, his animal friends snuggled close, a rabbit, a fox, even a little owl, all sharing warmth. Their breathing slowed in and out until the whole den was a nest of quiet dreams. The Sandman's secret. Every evening, the Sandman tiptoed into children's rooms, sprinkling sleepy dust. But one night, a curious kitten named Paws followed him. "Where does the sleepy dust come from?" Paws asked. The Sandman smiled. "From yawns and sighs, from bedtime stories and lullabies. It's made of all the calm, happy moments before sleep." Paws curled up, feeling the dust land softly on his fur. His eyes grew heavy, and soon he was purring in a dream. The ocean's lullaby. A little seashell held a secret, the ocean's lullaby. When you held it close, you could hear the waves singing. "Hush now, dear one, the tide is slow." The seagull's nest where moonbeams glow. Drift away on dreams so deep. Let the waves rock you to sleep. Over and over, the song played, softer each time, until it was just a whisper in the dark. The blanket of fireflies. On the warmest summer night, a child couldn't sleep. So the fireflies gathered, weaving a glowing blanket above her. "We'll watch over you," they chimed. "Count our lights. 1, 2, 3. She counted until the lights blurred into dreams, and the fireflies dimmed their glow, one by one. The night is soft, the stars are glowing, and the world is ready to whisper its gentlest tales. Let's tiptoe into more stories where fireflies hum, clouds pillow, and dreams are just a sigh away. The moon's cradle. Every night, the moon lowered a silvery cradle made of spider webs and stardust. She'd rock it slowly, singing, "Little one, don't you cry. I'll swing you across the sky, past the planets, through the mist, wrapped in moonlight, softly kissed." One curious child, tucked under their quilt, felt the cradle's gentle sway. Their eyelids fluttered, and soon they were floating in dreams beside the moon. The snail who dreamed of racing. Slowpoke the snail was the slowest in the garden, but at night he dreamed of racing, gliding on dewdrops, surfing lettuce leaves, even outrunning a drowsy turtle. His shell became a cozy bed as he murmured, "Zoom, zoom," in his sleep. The other insects giggled, but the fireflies whispered, "Hush." Let him dream fast while he rests slow. And so, Slowpoke sped through starry meadows in his mind, never leaving his snug little spot. The pillow cloud. A tiny cloud named Fluff broke away from the sky, drifting down to a child's open window. "I'm tired of floating," it sighed. "May I rest here?" The child nodded, and Fluff settled onto their pillow, soft as a whisper. With every breath, the cloud puffed smaller and smaller, until it was just a wisp of dream inside the child's mind. The frog's evening song. Old Mr. Bullfrog always sang the last song of the night. "Ribbit, rirribbit, ponds are dreaming, lily pads sigh. Close your eyes now, day is goodbye." One by one, the pond creatures joined in croaks, chirps, even the fishes' bubbles, until the song became a lullaby. Then, mid-ribbit, Mr. Bullfrog paused. "Oh, I'm sleepy too." And with a contented plop, he slid into the mud for a long doze, the blanket that hugged back. At the foot of the bed lay a special blanket woven with threads of kindness. When the child shivered, it tucked itself tighter. When they sighed, it warmed like sunlight. Magic? The child wondered. "No," yawned the blanket. "Just love, spun into yarn." And with that, it curled around them like a hug that never ended. The night is gentle, the stars are winking, and dreamland is waiting just beyond closed eyes. Snuggle in, take a deep breath, and let's step into more sleepy stories. The Dreamy Train. A little train named Puff Puff didn't rush like the others. Instead, he was a dream train, traveling slowly through the night, picking up sleepy passengers along the way. "All aboard," whispered the wind. A bunny with droopy ears hopped on. A kitten with sleepy paws curled up. A tiny child climbed in, hugging their pillow. Puff, puff. Choo, the train hummed as it rocked gently along the moonlit tracks. The stars guided the way, the wheels whispered a lullaby, and one by one, the passengers drifted into dreams. The Yawning Meadow. In a secret meadow where dreams grew, the flowers yawned when the sun went down. First, the daisies stretched their petals. Then the bluebells swayed in a sleepy dance. The tallest sunflower bent low, resting its golden head. Even the butterflies folded their wings, curling up in moonlit nests. "She," whispered the grass, "time to rest." And as the meadow sighed into sleep, a little child listening nearby felt their own eyelids flutter. The Sleepy River. A little river sang a song every night. "Hush, hush, the water flows, drifting where the moonlight glows. Slowly, softly, dreams take flight, carried on the waves tonight." The fish swayed with the rhythm, the pebbles listened quietly, and the stars reflected in the rippling water, twinkling like dream messages floating downstream. A child sitting on the riverbank listened to the lullaby, and soon their thoughts drifted too, just like the water, floating, floating. The cloud that turned into a pillow. A baby cloud named Puff was so fluffy that all the other clouds called him a pillow. But Puff wanted to know what it truly felt like to be one. So he drifted down, 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 and landed right beside a sleepy child. "May I stay here?" he whispered. The child nodded, feeling the softest pillow ever. Puff sighed happily, turning warm and snug. He wouldn't float away tonight. He would stay and help someone dream. The Lantern of Dreams. A tiny firefly carried a special lantern, glowing softer and softer as bedtime neared. When he found a child still awake, he would float near their pillow and whisper, "Close your eyes, and I'll share my light with your dreams." As the child's eyelids grew heavier, the lantern dimmed, softer, dimmer, until the firefly, too, curled up in the dark, dreaming along with them. The stars are twinkling, the night is wrapping around you like a warm hug, and dreamland is just a few blinks away. Snuggle in, close your eyes, and let's begin. The sleepy seahorse. Deep beneath the waves, a tiny seahorse named Lumo swayed with the ocean's lullaby. Swish, swish, the waves go by. Drift so soft, don't even try. Lumo's tail curled around a piece of coral. His tiny fins fluttered slower, slower, until he floated, weightless, dreaming in the sea's gentle embrace. The star that followed a wish. A little child made a wish one night, whispering softly to the stars. One tiny star, named Lumi, heard it and decided to follow the wish all the way down to earth. Glowing softly, Lumi tucked herself into the child's dream, sparkling just enough to keep the night warm and safe. By morning, Lumi would return to the sky, but for now, she shimmered in the quiet dark, watching over her sleeping friend, the turtle who counted the tides. On a quiet beach, a sleepy turtle named Momo lay on the sand, counting the tides. 1 wave, 2 waves, 3 waves, he murmured, feeling the soft water touch his shell. His eyelids blinked slower with every number, until the waves whispered their own count, rocking him into sleep. On a quiet beach, a sleepy turtle named Momo lay on the sand, counting the tides. 1 wave, 2 waves, 3 waves, he murmured, feeling the soft water touch his shell. His eyelids blinked slower with every number, until the waves whispered their own count, rocking him into sleep. The cozy chimney smoke. In a tiny cottage, a warm fire crackled in the hearth. A wisp of chimney smoke curled out into the night, floating gently toward the stars. But instead of rising high, the smoke twirled into a soft shape like a cloud, like a hug, and drifted into a child's room. It wrapped them up in warmth, whispering, "Safe, snug. Sleep now." The firefly's secret code. In a quiet field, tiny fireflies blinked in a secret language. Blink, blink, time to rest. Glow, glow, dreams are best. A little child watched from their window, eyes growing heavy with every flicker. The fireflies dimmed one by one as if whispering, "Follow us into dreams." The night is quiet, the stars are twinkling, and dreamland is waiting just for you. Snuggle in, close your eyes, and let's drift into new sleepy adventures. The owl who whispered goodnight. High in the treetops, a little owl named Hootlet watched over the sleeping forest. "Hoo, hoo, time to rest," he cooed softly. The rabbits curled up in their burrows, the deer tucked their legs beneath them, and even the tiny mice yawned. One by one, the forest grew still. Hootlet fluffed his feathers, blinked once, twice, and on the third blink, he too drifted into a dreamy slumber. The sleepy echo. In a quiet valley, a little child stood on a hill and whispered, "Good night." The hills answered back softly, good night. Good night, good night. The sound faded, softer each time, until it was only a breath in the air. The child smiled, snuggled into bed, and let their thoughts fade, just like the echo, softer, quieter, gone. The little lantern boat. A tiny paper boat with a glowing lantern floated across a still lake. Drift, drift. It hummed as the water carried it gently. The reflection of the moon shimmered beside it, like a path leading to dreams. The boat rocked, slower and slower, until it faded into the misty night. The blanket of stars. A little bear cub lay awake, staring at the night sky. I wish I had a cozy blanket, he sighed. Hearing his wish, the stars twinkled brighter, wrapping their light around him like a shimmering quilt. The cub yawned, feeling warm and safe. His paws relaxed, his breathing slowed, and soon he was dreaming beneath his starry blanket. The dreamy feather. A tiny feather floated down from a bird's wing, dancing through the air. It twirled, dipped, and landed ever so gently on a child's cheek. It was so soft, it felt like a dream itself. The child sighed, feeling lighter, and let their mind drift with the feather softer, slower, until it floated into sleep. The moon is glowing, the stars are winking, and the world is wrapping you in quiet warmth. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let's journey into dreamland together. The cloud that wanted to rest. Fluff, a small puffy cloud, had floated all day across the sky. I wish I could rest, he sighed. The wind whispered, then drift, slowly, softly, find your place in the sky. So Fluff floated lower and lower until he nestled between two mountain peaks. He stretched out wide, turned a sleepy shade of lavender, and let the night cradle him into a gentle sleep. The sleepy raindrop. Little Droplet had been playing in the clouds all day, but now she was tired. Come with us, said the other raindrops, falling gently toward the earth. They landed on the leaves, making soft plip-plop sounds, rocking the flowers to sleep. Little Droplet landed last, curling into the petal of a rose, safe and snug. With a tiny sigh, she closed her eyes and dreamed. The Whispering Meadow. A child lay in a field of tall, soft grass, feeling the gentle night breeze. Hush, hush, whispered the wind. Rest, rest, sighed the grass. Fireflies blinked lazily, their glow dimming like tiny night lights. The child took a deep breath, sinking into the soft earth, feeling as light as a feather. The wind carried them into sleep, wrapping them in a lullaby of whispers. The dreamy little turtle. At the edge of a quiet pond, a tiny turtle named Pebble yawned. He watched the ripples in the water, counting them as they faded into the night. 1, 2, 3. His head drooped, his little legs tucked in. 4, 5, 6. Before he could reach 7, Pebble's eyes closed, and he slipped into a dream as gentle as the rippling water. The starry swing. In the sky, there was a magical swing made of silver moonbeams. A little star hopped on, swinging higher and higher, until it rocked slower and slower and slower. The star yawned, feeling weightless, letting the gentle motion carry it into sleep. And as the swing slowed to a stop, the little star curled up, twinkling softly in dreamland. But sleepy dreams are just beginning. Now, little one, the clouds have settled, the raindrops have landed, the meadow is quiet, the turtle is dreaming, and the stars are swaying. Your breathing is slow, your body is warm, dreamland is calling. Sleep peacefully. The night will hold you safe until morning.